long time since I've been on the channel, and it's about time that I get back at a few things here. What I have sitting in front of me here is a aluminum 5.3 liter that a friend had given me a couple years ago at least. There's no cam bearings. I've got it cleaned up and everything except for the bores, which I'll just tone those out with the little 3-finger hone there. This is a camshaft from a 6.0. I kind of hand polish that, so the intent is to hand polish the crank for this one. Haven't decided if I'm going to use that 5.3 crankshaft from the motor that I blew up trying to race Amelia Hartford back at LS Fest during all the pandemic crap. Here's a set of 799 heads that came on this block here. But I have, as you can see, I have an absolute disaster. It's a diesel Dodge 47 RE. Nope, sorry, that's a 48 RE. That one over there, that's the 47 RE. 4L60, 4L60, some of them are 4L65s. You can see I got 5 pinion planets. That's Dodge 48 RE. I got 4L80E. That crankshaft's from a freaking Kia 2-liter. I got Vortec 8100 stuff, you know, cylinder head, crankshaft, another cylinder head, block for the 81. I got stuff everywhere. Turbo 350s, 4L80s. Friggin', I got a 700 R4 in pieces that I'm building for the guy. And that's kind of a special deal too, because he's getting the motor that me and my father built in my old 69 Chevelle wagon. So it's going to be cool. It's for his 76-year-old dad. And I figured that old boat anchor, you know, it's a good running motor. My father passed. We had our days with it. I'll put it in this guy's Pontiac Le Mans, and then him and his dad can make some memories, and the grandkids, and then him and his kids, you know, whatever, after dad passes away or whatever, they can make all their memories with that motor too till it blows up, because it's either a boat anchor, I give it away for next to nothing, you know, I blow it up, do whatever, but there's kind of sentimental value in it, so I'll let it keep making stories with other people. But this is the crankshaft, the 5.3 crankshaft that came out of the aluminum block. Of course, now, mind you, I have cleaned all this stuff up. I have scrubbed the heck out of it. So the question is, do I polish this one up, keep it with the 58X reluctor, keep it Gen 4, or do I go Gen 3 24X and then put a 1X sensor on the front, which I can do because in all my junk and pieces laying around, yeah, I've got several of these guys that have come off of junkyard motors that are 3-bolt cam, but they're a 1X sensor on the front of the cam. So that GM part there, I could actually run either way on that motor. But yeah, so yeah, I just literally, I have crap everywhere. That's my 408 motor under that trash bag. There's an LC8 6-liter on the stand next to it. There's just stuff everywhere. But one of the things that I do have is this aluminum block. I gave a buddy of mine an aluminum 5.3, an LM4, and then the LM4 out of a Trailblazer Gen 3 for his boat. And I had sent the block to the machine shop to have it bored out and cleaned up and everything. So I gave that to him. He bought some Speed Pro, or I don't know, the Hyper Eutectic friggin' pistons for it. But anyways, he ended up getting this motor for free because it had been sitting out in a return case as a core for like 2 years out in the rain. It had just piled in with water and everything. I don't care, it's free, right? So he ended up shortly after getting this one scoring a 6.2, an aluminum 6.2. So he said, here, you can have this one. I'm going to use the 6.2. I'm like, okay. So I got 5.3, 799 heads. I think I'm gonna just use the 5.3 crank from the LM7 that I blew up racing Amelia in Vegas. I'm just gonna throw this together basically like a sloppy mechanics. The goal on this motor is gonna be free. The free 5.3 is what I want to call it. So I mean, I guess ultimately the goal would be like a net zero, because in today's green world, you know, you need like a net zero. So like this one had Gen 4 rods. I ended up giving the Gen 4 rods to a buddy. Long story, whatever. I don't have those rods anymore, but I do have, I've got a whole set of Gen 3 rods and pistons from the LM4 motor, the 5.3, and they were in decent shape. I can clean them up and I can put them in this one. The other option would be I have this set of pistons here that I bought, like, I don't know, probably like 3-4 years ago off of like Scamazon, and they're just real basic, but they're brand new. They're a Gen 4. They're like press pin or floating pin 4/8 flat top pistons. But when I got them, I think they cost me like, I don't know, 150 bucks or something. So it's not like they were super expensive. So I've had people give me transmissions and stuff. So if I could sell parts of those transmissions that are good or whatever, I would consider that on the net zero side. Being able to repurpose and make some money off the stuff people have given me for free. Or if I can build a transmission and sell it, and then the proceeds over, you know, what I've got into it labor and parts wise, then I would consider that as money that I could put on a net zero. But I mostly, like, I work with Jeff. Jeff hates reusing any bearings whatsoever, even if they're good bearings. I'm like, I'd reuse those, and he's like, nope, gotta have new bearings. So from this LC8 motor, we have this set of main bearings, and I've cleaned them up. They look really good. There's one that's got, yeah, see, that one's got a nice score line through it, but otherwise it's not bad. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use these bearings, and my intent is my full intent is to actually reuse some used bearings for a camshaft out of another motor, to hammer them in and have all my stuff reused, repurposed, free. So the other thing is that like, I got all the, these are all the rod bearings I saved from that LC8 as well, and so I'll clean them up. They all look good. Jeff was like, I'm not gonna use those, and I'm like, fine, I'll use them in my free 5.3. So I think what I'm going to do is repurpose those bearings, find me a set of used cam bearings that look like they're in really good shape, you know, and I'll reuse them. Basically clean up the cylinder heads. I've got a couple of 6-liter camshafts that are just laying outside in the rain and everything collecting rust, and I'm just going to polish one of those up with some Scotch-Brite, and I'm going to throw that in. I'm just going to be like, everything I use, head gaskets, bolts, everything that I can get my hands on is going to be free. If it's something that I can't really get for free, or, you know, like a cam retainer plate, the seal on there goes bad, and that's not a good thing to do. And like the O-ring gasket on the pickup tube, it's a couple of things, but you know, the whole objective is free 5.3 or run it at a net zero. So that's what I'm going to intend to do. If I do use those pistons, I have these Gen 4 rods that are non-bush. They're press pin Gen 4 style rods, and I made my own tool, and I've been pressing pistons off. So if I do use those brand new pistons, I will use the Gen 4 rods to save money, but then I gotta figure out how to come up with that 150 bucks that I spent on those to bring me back down to net zero. So that's what I'm gonna do. That's what I'm gonna start on. I'm gonna try and find me a set of bolts for the mains on here, some stock ones in my pile of crap. I'm pretty sure that looks like an accessory bolt. I don't know. Pretty sure I've got some stock main cap bolts. Yep, there's one. See, there's one of the 13 millimeter. That's a main cap bolt. So anyways, I'm just gonna find bolts like this randomly scattered about on the floor and through stuff, and basically find all the things I need to. That looks like a head bolt. Yep. And then that's a head bolt there, it looks like. Yep. Those are the short ones. There's a brand new set around here that's Gen 3, but that won't work. And then that looks like it's for something else. Maybe Kia? Maybe Chrysler? Sebring? I don't know. I know I have enough hardware around here in junk buckets or rust piles or something. Oh, I'm not worried about that. I will get those parts. So I'm going for the 353. Now I've had people give, like I say, I've had people give me transmissions. Sometimes it's a score. And my whole point behind this is that, you know, you hang out with groups of people that are doing projects on cars, you know, cars and coffee folks, local car groups, on the chat forums, you know, going out on marketplace. Maybe there's something that you can trade somebody for something. You know, if it's not doing me any good and I don't intend on using it anytime soon, or I may not ever get to it, to me, that's a free trade, man. If I trade for something that I will use. So, but like I've had people give me 4L60s to just, they burn them up. Here you go. I don't want it. Get it out of my yard, you know, whatever. Hey, mind if oh, go ahead, take it. But I did score. There was a guy that I built a Turbo 350, I beefed it up and sold it to him. And he had purchased a Turbo 400 that was supposedly rebuilt. And I would believe it because I went through it and it was freaking, it was awesome inside. And that was basically stock, but he gave me that Turbo 400. But I mean, realistically, those are like, they're not your common deals. So my intent is a common deal. Somebody's like, get that piece of junk 4L60 out of here. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's taking up room in my shop. Just get it out of here. Or, hey, I don't know nothing about transmissions. You know what? Just take that sucker or whatever, you know. Hey, I'll mow your grass if you give me that transmission. You know, that kind of stuff, whatever. I mean, to me, that's like, that's free. You know, a little bit of time or whatever. So the intent is I'm going to build that motor free or net zero. Then I'm going to go into a transmission. And then I'm going to go free or net zero. And then I recently was able to pick up a car that's a pretty cool car. You guys will see it later. And it was extremely cheap. It is not a great car, but I already had a roll cage laying around for it. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to buy the car just because I have a roll cage that I got to get rid of. Because I bought a roll cage for the wrong vehicle like a dumbass. So I got a roll cage, but I want to include that in my price on the car. So I want to do an entire drag build. Engine, transmission, everything. Free or net zero. And then we'll see what we can do with it. So this is the first video. It's just introducing basically the goal. The goal is free or net zero. And if I put gaskets that are new gaskets or anything, I will let you guys know. And I will include that in my cost. I will show you what I do in order to get an expense down to a net zero. So if I have to build a transmission, or if I have to sell some parts or whatever, what I'll do is I will show you a breakdown on the transmission, whatever, and listing, selling, you know, trading, whatever I got to do to basically bring this whole thing to a net zero or free. So I have a feeling it's going to be a net zero thing pretty much, but I want to make it realistic. Like if you are tied in with a bunch of car people, that you can wheel and deal, barter, trade, and basically end up not having your soul, your left arm, and your right testicle wrapped up in it, you know, so to speak, so that it's, you don't feel like you've lost something of yourself trying to get this project and trying to make it happen. So, yeah, there's lots of things you can do. I will show all of you on this trip, like the way I polish this crankshaft. I will show all of you how I polish the crankshaft that I'm going to put into this block. I'm going to do the entire build. It'll be a whole series, and that's the intent. Hope you stick with me. You know, if you like the video, you know, I don't care if you like it, subscribe, comment, whatever. The biggest thing for me is if you like it, watch another one. You know, make sure if you like the build, continue watching the series. So that's what I want more than anything. I don't care if you subscribe, I don't care if you like it, whatever. Biggest thing for me is just get you coming back and enjoying yourself watching the content I create. So basically this was the introduction video, and with that I'll say good night, and I will start working on the first video of the series.